Hi, I'm Chad with Move Forward Guitar. This lesson is from our course, Music Theory 2. All the lessons for this course are free on YouTube, so you can follow right along with the playlist or look in the description below for links to the rest of the lessons. To accelerate your learning though, I highly recommend you download the corresponding Music Theory 2 workbook and eGuide. To learn more about the workbook and eGuide, click the link on the screen or look in the description below. Welcome to Music Theory 2, Lesson 11. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the natural minor scale. So at this point, I think you should understand pretty well what the major scale is and how to build it. A quick review, you just start on any note, that becomes your tonic. You use the formula whole step, half step, whole step, half step, and that gives you the notes of your major scale. And the intervals of a major scale are tonic, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, back to tonic, or just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or tonic 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And hopefully at this point you understand why the major scale is important in Western music. It's the most important scale. But there are lots of other scales that you'll eventually need to know, quite a few of them at least, but there's one that is really important to know early on, and that's called the natural minor scale, also known as the pure minor scale. Or a lot of times you'll actually just hear it called the minor scale, even though that's not the best name to call it because there's multiple minor scales, so it's better to call it the natural minor scale. But if someone just says the minor scale, they're talking about the natural minor scale. And so to construct a major scale, you know it's just whole step, half step, whole step, half step. To construct a natural minor scale, it's different. It's whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, and that gives you your natural minor scale. So instead of ending up with tonic, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, you end up with tonic, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, back to tonic. And because of these intervals, because of the way this scale is laid out, it's a darker scale. Minor scales are considered dark and sad. Major scales are considered bright and happy. That's just a way to think about them in simple terms. And the thing that really makes the difference between a major and minor scale is the third interval. So in a major scale, it's a major third interval. In a minor scale, it's a minor third interval. And this makes the scale much darker, much gloomier, much sadder sounding. So first, I'm just going to demonstrate the difference between the two scales so you can hear that. So here's a G major scale on the 6th string. And here's a G natural minor scale on the 6th string. Now I'm just going to play them both again side by side so you can really listen without me talking. So the biggest difference between the minor and the major scale are the third intervals. So you have, with the G major scale, G, A, B. So listen to that. The G natural minor, you have G, A, B flat, which is your whole step, half step, and your G major scale is whole step. So this interval right here, which is the third interval, is lowered 1/2 step from the major scale to the minor scale. And that really creates the minor sound. So major sound, minor sound. And you should be able to hear that minor third interval is much darker, much sadder sounding than the major third interval. And the other intervals that are lowered 1/2 step are your E from the major scale goes to E flat, and F sharp goes to F when you're talking about the G major scale and the G natural minor scale. So those create a darker sound as well, but really it's the major third going to a minor third that makes the difference between a major sound to a minor sound. So one more time, major sound, minor sound. So hopefully you were able to hear that the minor scale is a much darker, much sadder sounding scale than the major scale, which is more bright and happy. And even though the natural minor scale is its own scale, it's actually built right out of the major scale. It's actually one of its modes, which don't worry about what modes are for now. We'll get into that in later lessons. But just realize that it's actually coming out of the major scale. So I'll explain what I mean. The major scale, as you know, we've gone over this multiple times, to build is whole step, half step, whole step, half step. A natural minor scale, like I just mentioned, is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Well, the natural minor scale is just rearranging the steps from the major scale. So the major scale, you're starting from here and going in this sequence with the whole step, half step, etc. The natural minor scale is starting from right here. So the natural minor scale is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So starting from here and going this way and then just through it, which you can see right here. Whole step, half step, half step, half step, whole step, whole step. So all the natural minor scale is doing is rearranging the notes of the major scale. You start on a new note, that becomes your new tonic, and you just follow through with the steps of the major scale, but starting in a new place. So we started here, which would be like your sixth note, and then followed through with the whole step, half steps, and that gave us our natural minor scale. So another way to look at it is to look at it with notes drawn out. So here's the C major scale, and you can see C is our tonic. We have whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step back to C, our tonic. So that's the C major scale. But if I carried those notes out and I just continued it, so I'm just going C, D, E, F, G, A, B again, and added my steps back in, I'm removing the tonics for now. So I've just repeated it again, so I just went C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and these are all the steps in there. And if I started on C and made that my tonic and went through here, that would be a C major scale. But if I start on A and make that my tonic, now I have an A natural minor scale. So if I made A my tonic, you can see my new steps become whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. And that would be an A natural minor scale. So within the C major scale, you actually have an A natural minor scale. And you can see we just extended the C major scale, and if you start on C and go to C, you have a C major scale, but if you start on A and go to A, you have an A natural minor scale. So I just want to play something, and I'm going to play a C major scale so you can hear it, and then I'm going to play an A natural minor scale so you can hear that, and hopefully you'll be able to hear that the C major scale is the bright, happy sounding scale, and the A natural minor scale is the darker, sadder sounding scale, even though I'm using the exact same notes. I'm just starting in a different spot to create that scale, and the intervals it creates those sounds. So here's a C major scale. I'm going to play a C major chord just as a reference before and then after. So here's C major scale. And here's an A natural minor scale. Again, I'll play an A minor chord before and after for a reference. So they're using the same notes. For the C major scale, I have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. For the A natural minor scale, I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. They're the same notes, they're just in a different order. So C major scale, C is my tonic. The C major chord is my tonic chord. For A natural minor, A is my tonic. A minor is my tonic chord. So even though they're the same notes, whatever I make the tonic changes up what happens with the intervals, and that's what changes the sound. So C major scale, I have C, which is my tonic, D my major second, E my major third, F my perfect fourth, G my perfect fifth, A my major sixth, B my major seventh, and C back to tonic. A natural minor, I have A as my tonic now. That makes B, instead of the major seventh it was to C, it's now my major second. C now becomes my minor third, which I told you in the last lesson is really where that minor sound comes from, the minor third. D is my perfect fourth. E is my perfect fifth. F is my minor sixth. G is my minor seventh, and back to A for tonic. So they're the same notes, but whatever the tonic is determines what the intervals are, and they're all the sounds of the intervals are relating back to the tonic. So C is my tonic in the C major scale, but C is my minor third in the A natural minor scale, which really gives the minor sound. So one more time, C major scale. A natural minor scale. So if we were to take the natural minor scale, if we just stuck with the A natural minor scale, which comes out of the C major scale, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, which gives us the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G back to A. In the C major scale, those intervals would have been, A would have been the sixth or the major sixth, B would have been the major seventh, C was the tonic, D was the major second, E was the major third, F was the perfect fourth, G was the perfect fifth. But those are the intervals if you're starting with C and that's your tonic. But if A is your tonic and you're creating the natural minor scale, your intervals are actually now A as the tonic, B is the major second, C is the minor third, D is a perfect fourth, E is a perfect fifth, F is the minor sixth, G is the minor seventh, and then we're back to A. So even though these are the same notes that come directly out of the C major scale, since we've made A our tonic, all these intervals have to rearrange to A. So A is our tonic, B is a major second away, C is a minor third away, and so on. Unlike when we were in the major scale, C was the tonic, D was the major second, E the major third, and those all related back to C being the tonic because D is a major second away from C, E is a major third away from C, and so on. So when we rearrange it and make A our tonic, all these intervals change because they're relating back to our new tonic. They're not relating to C anymore, which was the major scale. And this works in every key. I just did it in the key of C because, like I told you in the last lesson, C doesn't have any sharps or flats, so it's easier to memorize. It's easier to know all the notes because you don't have to worry about sharps and flats. But every major scale has a natural minor scale within it. And to find the natural minor scale within a major scale, if, for example, if this was the key of A, that would be A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, back to A. So this is the A major scale. This is the C major scale. When we're finding the natural minor scale in the C major scale, we counted up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth note was our natural minor scale, and then we would just make this our new tonic and then continue to write out the notes. So we'd have A, B, C. After C is D, E, F, G, A. So from here over is our natural minor scale if we made this our tonic. It's the same thing for any key. In the key of A, we count over 6. The sixth note is F sharp. So then we would just continue the notes out, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, E, back to F sharp. We'd have the F sharp natural minor scale right here if we made F sharp our tonic. So any major scale has a natural minor scale within it. You just have to count up to the sixth note and then continue that out until you've reached the octave of the note, the sixth note that you were on that you made your new tonic. So if we started on A, made that our tonic, we have to carry it out until we hit the next A, and then that would be our natural minor scale, which comes directly out of the C major scale. And that's actually why it's called the natural minor scale or the pure minor scale, because you're taking notes out of the major scale and you're not altering them in any way. They're the natural notes straight out of that scale. Other minor scales are actually altering some of the notes from the major scale. So for example, if we had a different minor scale that started with A and had all the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and it came out of C major, well, some of these notes would be altered as far as they would have a sharp on them. But don't worry about that for now. That's more advanced than you need to worry about. We'll talk about that more in depth in later courses. Just know that it's called the natural minor or the pure minor because it's coming straight out of this major scale, or what's called the parent major scale, and you're not altering any of the notes in any way. They're the natural notes to that major scale. So again, the intervals of a natural minor scale are tonic, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, back to tonic. So that's an explanation of the natural minor scale. Again, don't worry if you're confused. We're really going to dive into this in upcoming lessons and courses. And in the next lesson, I'm going to explain what's called the relative minor and minor keys. Look in your Music Theory 2 workbook for step-by-step guidance on how to retain this information and what to do next. And remember, all the charts and diagrams for this lesson are in your Music Theory 2 eGuide for you to reference at any time.